Get ready
I'm ready.
to expand
Expand what?
your mind.
Oh yeah.
Step into your greatness.
Let's do this. Welcome to the Perpetual Calling Podcast. A podcast to help you to expand your mind and step into your greatness. We're going to do it all. Interviews, challenges, trainings, all here on a weekly basis. And here's your host, Anthony Payton. Yeah, that's me.
Welcome to another episode of Perpetual Calling Podcast. Yes, I'm Anthony Payton, and thanks for joining us again. This is a different one. We're going to change it up today. So today, I'm going to get real. Can't even speak. I'm going to get real and raw with you. Real and raw. I'm going to tell you a bit about my background, how I've come to where I am today. Because everyone has a story. Do you know your story? Do you really know your story? Say where you are, all the challenges you have been through, the ups and downs, especially the key ones, and those key ones have made you the person you are today. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. A little bit about my story and how I've come here to be with you today on this podcast, and how I've come to have my own coaching business and doing workshops and speaking events and coaching one-on-one and building an online community, a tribe of over 1,200 people right now, growing each week and impacting people all over the world. So my story starts back in my 20s when I finished school. I didn't want to. Well, school here in Australia, you finish like high school, boarding school. I went to boarding school in Sydney, and that was okay. I wasn't really passionate about the learning side. The sport was really fun. The sport was the main reason why I enjoyed it. And so once I finished school, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I didn't want to go and do a job that I didn't enjoy. I didn't really want to follow the norm, that 9 to 5 thing that your parents might tell you that you should go do this, you should go do that. We all have that. And I really wanted to follow my true path. And I was really passionate about music, about being a musician. And so over the years throughout primary school and boarding school, I played the drums. Since I was about 8 years old. And I remember like it was yesterday when I first got my drum kit. So it was around Christmas time, and do you know how you're a little kid and you send a letter off to Santa Claus? Yes, so I sent a letter off to Santa Claus saying I'd love a guitar, and because of these reasons I can't exactly remember what I wrote, but I remember I wanted a guitar. And then guess what Santa brought back to me? A drum kit. And because my family owned a hotel, my drum kit was spread out all over the pub, so in different rooms everywhere. And so I was like a hunting and gathering sort of pick. Do you know how, like in Easter time, you got Easter eggs everywhere? You got to go find them. This was kind of like that. I had to find pieces. So went to one room. There was a drum kit. I was like, "What's this?" Go to another room. There's another bit of a drum kit, like a tom. There's another floor tom. There's some cymbals in another room. And so, oh my God, Santa Claus brought me a drum kit. So it wasn't a guitar, but it was a musical instrument. I think my parents probably look back now and wish they got me a guitar, because you can't turn a drum kit down, can you? And I was a heavy hitter. I just bashed those things every day. And so I started playing the drums from that day. And on and off over the years playing the drums, but I really got into like rock and roll. So AC/DC, who else? Linkin Park, and I can't think. Offspring, like Come Out and Play. Remember that? That was like one of the first songs I taught myself how to play drums. That's pretty cool. And so that shows you my age, really, doesn't it? And so I'm really passionate about drums. And when I finished school, I really wanted to like chase that dream, being a famous musician, traveling the world, playing gigs everywhere, playing in front of massive audiences. And so, coming from a small country town of like 300 people, 400 people, I didn't really, not much opportunity there to, you know, play in front of thousands of people or hundreds of people when there's, a country town full of 300 people who don't listen to rock and heavy metal, because that's where I went into heavy metal, like Metallica and Pantera, Lamb of God, Slipknot, Slayer, and a whole bunch of others. And so, moved out of there, moved to Sydney and tried to get one going there. Didn't quite work out. And over the years, I was on and off playing the drums and, is it really for me? Thinking, is it for me? Do I want this? And then I moved to Canberra in about 2006 or 7, I think it was. And so I got there. And my whole reason why I went there was, yes, I can chase this dream again of mine, being in a famous band and playing music. So little did I know, it's bloody hard work starting a band. Yeah, it's kind of like starting a business. You can relate to that. Hard going, you got to keep at it, keep focused day in, day out. And so it took a while to get a band going. So about over a course of about 6 months, a year, when I first moved there, I started jamming with another musician, started writing songs, and heavily into Pantera at that time. And so we wrote heaps of songs, and tried out heaps of bass players and singers, but couldn't find the right person. We wanted, we were looking for the high achievers. We didn't want just anyone to come in and, who's just sort of a weekend session musician or once a month player. We were disciplined and dedicated and committed, practicing every week or a couple times a week. And so after a year or so, that guitarist, he decided to move away, and obviously that fell apart. So I had to start again. And this happened over a next year or so. I ended up joining another band, which was awesome. Started getting a few gigs under my belt that way. A few good, decent gigs, paying gigs in front of a decent crowd. But it sort of went in a direction I didn't enjoy. So I decided to start another band, like one of mine, find musicians I'd want to jam with the music I love. It's kind of like starting your own business or working for someone. You really want to enjoy what you're doing. If you're going to love your life, you want to do something that you enjoy. And so it took about a year or two, and eventually formed a band with 5 other people. And it was great. We were all like-minded. We were passionate about music. We were similar values and beliefs. And so we dug in hard, and about a year to 2 years together, we wrote an album and ended up touring the east coast of Australia, which is awesome. It was like, yes, I'm living my dream. How you have that vision of something you want to achieve, and it kind of doesn't feel like you can achieve it until you're actually there. Then you're there, and you kind of like, you're not sure if this is what you envisioned. You're like, I envisioned this, but it kind of almost feels different to what you actually thought about. But anyway, and so it was awesome. Ended up touring and partying and playing gigs, and half the reason why people get into bands is, you think about rock bands, like in the 80s, 90s, rock bands, metal bands, or just bands. And what do you think of when you think of bands touring and playing massive shows? You think, and what do they do? It's all about, what is it? Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I tell you, we weren't at that stage of, lots of sex, because, far and few between in like a small touring metal band from Australia who were just growing their fan base. Drugs, there was some drugs, and rock and roll. We'll play the rock and roll, which is awesome. That's the main part of it. And so we're going quite well with that. And then something happened, and one of the guitarists decided to leave. And just as we were gaining traction, just as we were getting a following, and so we pretty much had to start again. Start again. Imagine that. Imagine building up your business to a point where it's just like, boom, just like taken away from you, and you have to start again. We were like quite frustrated and angry, but we were disciplined, we were dedicated, we were committed. And so I was like sort of like the driver of the bus. So I formed that band, and then the rest of us had to get a couple of new members, because not long after the guitarist left, the singer decided to leave too. And so we found a couple more members, and so we had to hit at it again. We wrote another album in about a year, and then toured again, which was awesome. And so this was around my 30th birthday, and coming up around then, something happened in my life which changed the direction of my life. See, I was going one way, passionate about music, doing that was my purpose. I felt that was my purpose. And something happened which steered my life in a new direction. Because there's two moments in life. The two most important in your life are the day you're born and the day you find out why. And so around this time, I can't remember a specific day, but around my 30th birthday, over that month, just after my 30th birthday, maybe I found out my why, my purpose, the full meaning to my life. See, I was headed in one direction, and something happened, changed the direction of my life forever, had a massive, massive impact. And it's like you look back now, and all the band stuff, going through the struggles and challenges over like 6-7 years, building a band, being passionate, not giving up, has helped me to become the person I am today. But what had happened there, which changed the direction of my life forever, because only 10 days before my birthday, my 30th birthday, something happened which changed my life forever, which was my mum passed away after battling with cancer for 2 or 3 years, and she was going through radiation, chemotherapy, natural remedies, but nothing was working. And the worst thing about it was you couldn't do anything to help her. You would give up a leg, an arm, a bloody right testicle, but you couldn't do anything to help. And so yes, on that day, only 10 days before my 30th birthday, I was in Clare Holland Hospice in Canberra with my family, just sitting with her, and she basically just passed away in front of our eyes. And I remember the nurse coming in and actually testing her pulse and saying she's gone. And I was just thinking, what the fuck, are you gonna like revive her? But obviously, I thought, well, that's why she's here. She's really sick. She's actually in a better place now, because this cancer was like, I haven't seen anything like it was. It's kind of like it was on her face. And so when she had surgery and chemo surgery, what had happened is they didn't take it all. So it was kind of like wildfire. If you put a little bit of flame in, say, a tussock or really dry grass, you know how quickly it catches a light, like with a bit of air, so whoosh, and it's like lit straight up. So this is what this cancer was like. It was like almost like tentacles on an octopus too. So it just spread like wildfire. And so yeah, nothing we could do, and she was in a better place, and so that made me reflect on my life. That made me really reflect on my life over the next week or two. It was kind of like, if you've experienced this, you're just numb. You don't know what's happened. You can't really think about anything else. And so over those 2 weeks to probably a month, really looked at my life and what I was doing and whether I was fulfilled at all. And the band was good, but I was around my 30s, and it wasn't like I imagined it would be, like envisioned it would be. It was good, but there was a lot of drinking, and that was around that point I started to move away from drinking, and there was drugs and stuff after each gig, which, got into a bit of that, but I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I don't want to fucking touch that shit anymore. And then looking at my relationships in my life and toxic relationships, I was had one long-term relationship in my 20s, but it's kind of toxic, and having other toxic relationships. And then also the job, because I had a job, had to earn money somehow because the band wasn't doing it, and I didn't really enjoy my job. So it made me look at my life and what I was doing, and there's a couple of quotes by Jim Rohn that I really like. For things to change, you must change. For things to get better, you must get better. And so I really took that to heart, and really, for things to change, I must change. I wasn't happy with my life, so I have to change. So how do I change? Kind of like, that's where I really dove into personal development, working on myself, becoming a better version of myself, reading books, attending events, doing workshops. And over the years, I really dove deep, spending probably around 100 grand, 50 to 100 grand just on personal development, becoming an NLP practitioner. I was really interested in that for years, and helping with my mindset, become like a life coach, an RCT coach, which basically helped me to become a better version of myself, really, with goals and where I was headed. Because in the band, we had goals, but didn't know how to set them. We achieved our goals, but now I've learned how to really set them properly, and with my mindset. Also did a hypnotherapy course, also did a theta healing course with my friend, and over the years, and improved my health, become an actual personal trainer and a actual health coach, and also become a relationship coach. So I pretty much did it all just to help myself. And doing that, I found out that I really wanted to do something to help other people, and I learnt the skills to help myself. Now I can help other people with the skills also that I've learnt. And so having these skills, I've been able to start my own coaching business and build a tribe, online tribe in my community, The Limitless Warrior. If you look on Facebook groups called The Limitless Warrior. And so impacting people all over the world. Now I feel like I've found my purpose, and I keep growing, learning day in, day out, because that's what life is about. You either grow or you die. So you just want to keep growing and growing. And now I'm pretty much in the best shape of my life. And health is kind of like a business too. You build up your, say, body and your health, and then you come across obstacles. Something happens, you get an injury here and there. And so over the years, I've had knee surgery, so that took back my health. But then afterwards, I was resilient and consistent in building my health back up. And I've got new surrounding influences, amazing relationships. I'm now living in Bondi Beach in Sydney. Never thought I'd live here, living here with a friend. And it's amazing. Went to the gym this morning, out of the gym, went for a swim at like 7:15. Today. The water was freezing, but I've been doing like that Wim Hof method, like in the shower. It's kind of similar. It's not the ice bath, but in the shower. So have a shower, normal temperature. Then at the end, you like turn it to freezing and stand under there for about a minute. And so I've really improved my health on purpose with my business. Got amazing relationships. So that's how I've come to you here today with this podcast. Also got this podcast impacting people in another way all over the world. So I'm going to start workshops soon, events, speaking events. I'm going to start working on writing my own book. So it's all about becoming the best version of yourself. That's why I've created the Limitless Warrior. And the slogan to that is expand your mind and step into your greatness. So that's what you've heard on this Perpetual Calling podcast. So Perpetual Calling, why did I name it that? Perpetual means never ending, and calling, something's calling for you, your higher self. You might know what that is. You might not know what that is, but just follow your path in your life. Listen to your true inner voice, not the voice of others. Listen to your true inner voice. And over the next few episodes, I'm going to tell you how to find that true inner voice and how to listen to it, how you can find your purpose also. Because we all have a calling. We all have a reason why we're born, why we're here. Do you know the odds of you actually living today? Living is 1 billion to 1. So before you were actually born, you actually your odds of actually being born and living was about 1 in 1 billion. So you're already amazing. You know you're here for a reason. So we just got to help you find that reason, your purpose, and have a look back on your story. See where you've been, see the struggles and challenges you've been through and how you've come to who you are today. And that's your story. That's the story you can really share with others, and others will relate to it, connect to you and your story. So that's it. Thanks for listening to my story. It's been amazing. I haven't told my story on a podcast like this for the world to see, but thanks for listening, and hopefully you connected with that, got something out of it, got some insights. And don't forget to subscribe, listen to us, rate us, and come and join our Limitless Warrior community on The Limitless Warrior. You can search thelimitlesswarrior.com. You go straight to our community. And other than that, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Ciao.
This has been a Perpetual Calling podcast. For more info about coaching with Anthony, come and join his community, The Limitless Warrior, at www.thelimitlesswarrior.com.